What's up, guys? Welcome back to Dense Stocks. Today I'm going to be telling you why I think the company that canceled their Q2 earnings report last year because it was so bad is going to be a good company to invest in the future.
It's dense stocks. I teach you about stocks cause we're both dense.
Just like my other videos, guys, I'm going to have links posted in the description with timestamps if you want to skip around, or if you don't want to hear about certain things that I'm saying but you want to hear about others, you can click those links in the description to skip around the video, make it a little bit easier for you to access. Of course, since my channel is focused on stocks, I'm going to be kind of going over everything from a financial and a stock standpoint, but we're also going to cover a little bit about the history of NIO, what they're going through right now, and what the future may hold for them. NIO gained a lot of popularity in the last year or so when Tesla's opponents were trying to claim that NIO was going to put Tesla out of business in China. NIO was founded in 2014 in China, but only in the past 18 months or so have they started to mass produce vehicles. Obviously, they make fully electric cars, and if you follow Tesla in any capacity, you're probably seeing NIO everywhere recently. For the longest time, for most of 2019 even, people saw NIO as a potential Tesla killer, and the stocks were pretty much inversely correlated. Days where Tesla would go up, NIO would go down, and vice versa. Recently, however, I think people are starting to broaden their perspectives. I think a lot of people are starting to realize that electrification is not exclusive to Tesla and that other people who are also doing a good job stand to gain a significant amount as well. NIO first started selling production cars in Q4 of 2018. They sold about 8,000, and in their first full year of production, they sold about 20,000 cars. That's pretty good numbers for their first 2 years, and as far as I could see online, it didn't look like they were production constrained in any way. If you look at NIO's rise to popularity, they're doing a lot of the same things that Tesla did back in the day. As I mentioned in my Tesla 2019 recap video, what Tesla did with the 2008 Roadster is they were trying to prove to everybody that EVs didn't necessarily have to be lame and underpowered. NIO's first model, the EP9, fit a similar role as the Roadster. Extremely high margins, extremely low production, super fast, fully electric car. And in all honesty, the EP9 is an awesome car. It looks super cool. It does 0 to 100 in 2.7 seconds. For comparison, that puts it on par with the Aventador, the 911 Turbo S, the McLaren 650S, and a GTR Nismo. And they're doing this very intentionally. They're showing this car off. They're using it as a promo to get people's attention, and it's working. Super high margin, really low production, and a whopping price tag of about $3.2 million. Other than that, NIO has 2 SUVs and a sedan on the way, all of which from a design standpoint are pretty safe. None of them are too wild, none of them are very wacky. It's very traditional designs. It looks kind of like a Kia from the front and kind of like a Toyota from the back. The only thing that's not so great on the specs is the range. I think it's pretty low. It's like 230 or 240. But again, they're a new company. They're still working on their battery tech, and it's pretty reasonable to expect that that's going to get better as the years go on. My only real major concern so far with these SUVs is the price. The ES6, the sort of lower end one, goes for $52,000, and then the premium ES8 goes for I think $67,000. So they're not cheap, and it could really make or break NIO. I mean, at that prices, if Tesla can produce in volume in China, I don't see any reason why the Chinese wouldn't just buy a Tesla, buy a Model 3 instead. That being said, though, there are a couple things that could happen. If Tesla gets super production constrained in China and the wait times get really long, or if demand gets super high and that pushes the wait times, it might be more attractive to buy a NIO rather than waiting 6 months for a Tesla. The other thing is, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, but as far as I understand, Gigafactory 3 in Shanghai is only going to be producing Model 3s and then eventually Model Ys. I've heard no talk about it producing the Model S or the Model X, which interestingly are the 2 classes of vehicle that NIO is producing. NIO has the ES6 and the ES8, which are both SUVs, premium luxury SUVs at that, and then the ET7, which is on its way later this year, is a luxury sedan. So it fits the same classes as what Tesla is missing, which is kind of interesting. NIO is also working on their driver assist technology. Right now they're claiming level 2 autonomy, which is, as the NHTSA defines, the car is steering for you, braking, accelerating, turning, everything for you, but you have to remain 100% engaged and ready to take over at any moment. Compare that to Tesla. Tesla already has level 3 autonomous driving on all of their eligible vehicles. The only real difference is that you don't have to maintain 100% focus on the road and be grabbing the wheel 24/7. You can be kind of distracted doing other things, but just sort of be ready just in case. Tesla is really close to releasing full self-driving though, and that'll be level 4 or 5 autonomy, which is essentially the car does everything for you and you shouldn't have to worry. But again, this is sort of a we'll see kind of thing. Driver assist technology is relatively new. Tesla is the first to do a really good job at it, but who's to say what the acceleration of the development of the technology will be like in the future. Another sort of little interesting fact about NIO is that they are currently commercializing a piece of tech that Tesla gave up on. Early on, Tesla charging stations were ideally going to be a battery swap station where some sort of machine comes underneath your car and they pull the battery off of it and then they give you a fully charged battery and you're good to go in 5 minutes or so. Over time, Tesla ended up giving up on this idea, and it wasn't because it was too difficult or too expensive. It just didn't make sense justifying all the R&D when charging technology was already progressing so quickly. Tesla figured that if they put all the money into charging tech instead, they could work on a car that charges much faster, which in the long run would probably be cheaper for the company anyway. I watched a video recently of an actual NIO doing a battery swap at one of their battery swap stations, And it was pretty cool seeing the machines come up from underneath the car and take the battery out. It did in about 5 minutes, I think, in the video that I watched, but everything was also very slow and calculated. I feel like if they calibrated the machines more, if they worked really well to get everything optimized, I bet you they could do it in less than half that time. I think this is probably a win for NIO in the short term. I think battery swap stations will probably resonate more with people who have kind of a death grip on internal combustion engines. This probably feels more natural for them. You just spend a couple minutes and then you go from 0 to 100, pay the fee and you're on your way. In the long term though, I think charging is the way to go. It just makes more sense. I mean, I've seen with Hardware 3 on Teslas, people are charging several dozen miles in a matter of minutes. So if we expect a similar rate of the development of charging technology in the next couple of years, I mean, it very well could be that we're charging 0 to full in 10 minutes, maybe less. Anyway, to get into the stocks and analytics, NIO's stock trades at about $4.50 a share. About 100 million shares or so are traded on average per day, so really high volume. And on any given day, a big swing is maybe 3 to 5%, equates to about 15 to 30 cents. NIO's market cap is between 4 and 5 billion, which kind of stuck out to me. Out of curiosity, I went back and looked at Tesla's stock history, and I found that Tesla had a market cap of about $4.5 billion back in 2012 when they first started the Model S, and they only sold 3,100 in that first year. That's when they had a market cap of 4 to 5 billion. If you compare that to NIO, NIO has a market cap of between 4 and 5 billion, and they're already producing 20,000 cars on their first year. In addition, NIO stands to gain a lot from Tesla. For one, the stocks are kind of correlating recently, so when Tesla goes up, NIO also kind of goes up in the shadow of Tesla because people who didn't get the chance to rise with Tesla are sort of looking for the next opportunity. What's going to be the next big thing in electrification in the EV world? Another big deal is that Tesla already did a lot of the trailblazing. They already broke the notions of, okay, EVs are stupid and underpowered and they're weak and there's not enough technology to do it. Tesla already took that concept and shattered it in the minds of the public. There was the very strong notion before that ICE was just the way to go, and there wasn't really a proper way to power a car unless it was by fossil fuels. Tesla spent a long time taking that idea and just trying to get people to understand that it's not true. That was part of the reason that Tesla got so much FUD, pushback, and opposition in its history. So NIO stands to gain in the sense that Tesla has already shown the world that EVs are attractive. So NIO doesn't have to waste the time, money, resources, and headache in trying to deal with the opposition because Tesla has already proven it. With all these things put together, I hope you see what I'm sort of getting at here. I don't think the stock is undervalued right now, but there's a huge amount of potential that maybe not everybody is looking into right now. Especially with Tesla's meteoric rise in the past couple months, people are sort of starting to realize, okay, yeah, this is the new thing. This is what's coming. Everybody's gonna be looking for the next Tesla, and NIO is that opportunity. Who's to say if they'll actually deliver in the next 5-10 years? Who knows, right? Who knows where they'll be? But in the very short term, I see NIO as being one of the biggest competitors and having one of the biggest potentials of anybody else in the EV market right now. Again, not saying that NIO is going to rise up and overthrow Tesla, but NIO has a long way to go. Electrification is going to be a big deal. The EV revolution is going to have a ton of capital associated with it. And NIO stands to gain more from that than maybe what we tend to think. Another super important thing from a stock standpoint to look at for NIO is their futures trading. Futures trading for NIO is super cheap. For like $180, $190 premium, you can buy a call option that expires 2 years from now with the current stock price as the strike price. So that argument basically boils down to, in its simplest form, do you think that NIO is going to be any higher in 2 years from now than it is right now, the stock price? Of course it is. I'm not saying NIO is going to grow several 100%, but that is possible. But it's not going to be nothing, right? They're not going to be low in my opinion. So if you're asking me, even if you were just to play the premiums on those options and just sell them for a higher premium than what you bought it for to somebody else, that's a huge opportunity. And it's not like NIO's a startup. They're not as risky as something that's just barely starting out. A $5 billion market cap isn't nothing. That's a pretty considerable sized company. Anyway, guys, hope you understand a little bit more about NIO. I hope you look into their stock and their options for the future. I definitely think it's going to be a really big opportunity. Make sure you're following me on Twitter @Toflars, and please go buy my shirt, my Cybertruck shirt. You can buy it at renewableThreads.com. $20, free shipping to the US. Wow, that's soft. Wow, that's a really nice. This one's 25 now. I'm selling this one for extra because I rubbed my face on it. All right. Check it out, guys, renewableThreads.com. I super appreciate it. As always, guys, thank you for watching and subscribing. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. My new camera has autofocus. It's the dopest thing. Oh, yeah. What's up?